Brought to you live from Pollard Studios in Tyler, Texas, the morning sermon featuring Jack Matthews!
Good morning and welcome to the mid-morning show. It's just one of those, I was coming to church and here I am. I found myself at the mid-morning show. I don't know how this stuff happened. So I got a little joke for you. It may be a little racy for some of you guys, but so it's a dirty joke. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was this horse and it fell in the mud. Okay, so I'm going to make it even dirtier. There was another horse that fell in the mud. Yeah? Okay, great. So, like we've been talking about lately, the internet is this great thing, right? We get these internet sensations. I mean, we've got Justin Bieber, and everybody loves him, right? Yeah? No? Okay. Well, so, we've got our special guest this morning. He's a real gem, if you will. Up and coming evangelical, let me preach to you pastor, sharing his videos on YouTube for the whole world to hear. We've got Brother Ben Bagley. Tell me, how are you doing? What have you been up to lately?
I have been up to a whole lot of things. It's been really busy lately. I've been working on sermons and trying to get worship all lined out so that we can do crazy things like preach from a couch. It's really unusual. We're getting ready because next week we're filming American Idol. I don't know how that's going to work. Everything's just, it's crazy. I've got my family home to take care of. You may not know, but I coach 2 world-renowned soccer teams. Two. One, but 2. And so life is always fun. In fact, we had soccer games yesterday. Yeah, it was like 20-3. Our team got spanked.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was great because, so let me tell you a little bit about the world. It's a wonderful thing. I was out coaching and we had these little 4-year-olds and one of the 4-year-olds ran up and he goes, Nana, Nana, Boo Boo, we scored and you didn't. Nana, Nana, Boo Boo, we scored and you didn't. Right, so I had to tell him, you can't do that. It's unsportsmanlike and we don't want to be rude, we don't want to be mean to people, that's not how we work. So after the game, his dad came up and tried to hit me. Right? That's how we teach 4-year-olds. That's how we teach 4-year-olds sportsmanlike conduct.
Well, all right. That kind of leads right into this next hard-hitting question. Have you heard about what's going on up in Missouri? Tiny little town called Parma.
Yeah, it's a really sad story. Anybody out there heard about Parma, Missouri? It's probably not something to applaud for. I'd hold off on the applause for just a second. Oh, yeah, if you've heard of Parma, please clap. Yeah.
You've got one. All right.
It's a little bitty town in Missouri. But it's really kind of sad right now because what happened is the town elected a female African-American mayor, and just about everybody, or at least half of the town officials, the police force, they all resigned. They quit. They said they weren't doing it. See, now you know why I said don't applaud. Not anything to applaud for. No, it's really kind of sad. It's all about the ways that we view the world, the ways that we see the world. In fact, it's great. I mean, I wish I was on the Tonight Show, not the Mid Morning Show, because the Tonight Show gets 4 million people every night watching the show.
Well, hey, everybody has to start somewhere, right?
Well, you know, I take it back, because it's much better to be here, right? Because this is on the internet, which means conceivably the entire world sees this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what's amazing about the Tonight Show, 4 million people watch it every night, and out of that, if you're not familiar with the Tonight Show or our longer running show, that's where a lot of people get their news. That's where a lot of people find out what's going on in the world. That's where a lot of people, the only information they get for the day, the only news they get from the day, the only entertainment gossip they get from the day is from that. Right? So 4 million people see the world through the lens of the Tonight Show.
All right. Well, and as we all know, if it's on the internet, it's true.
It is. This is where I got the story about Parma. So back to this terrible story on Parma. And we don't want to make them sound bad, but it's either racism or it's sexism. It's all of these terrible ways that we look at the world. It's kind of like the dad at the soccer game, right? There are things that we think are perfectly acceptable, and that's okay. Like, it's okay if you're violent as long as it sees a reason to do so. And it's okay to be racist as long as we have our reasons behind it. And here's what's even better, is a lot of us were going to go, no, we're not racist, right? We're not. So a funny story, about a year ago, I was dealing with some people, and this is how the conversation went. We were talking about racism, and the guy goes, now, I'm not racist, but I never want my daughter to be dating a black guy. I don't know if he understood the definition of racism.
No, that doesn't sound like it.
I don't think so. Right, and it was hard to think about, but at the same time, we do that a lot. I mean, we're like, oh, I'm not racist, or I'm not sexist. I mean, women can do anything they want, but... Right, like, I'm not prejudiced, or I don't agree with violence, but if it meets my needs, I'll do it, right? And so it's sad, like, we look at this town in Missouri, and we're like, oh, that's so awful. How can they do that? How can all these people be so against it? And we don't pay attention to the fact that we do the same thing.
I mean, what more is there to say? You can.
Can you?
Anybody?
Anybody hoping they can applause right now?
So, like we said, everything on the internet is true, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, how many people have wondered if unicorns are real? Because I mean, and if you look it up on the internet, unicorns, they're there. So unicorns are real.
Unicorns are real.
Unicorns are real.
You know what else is on the internet? A wonderful challenge.
Oh, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wanted fuller lips?
Anybody have that problem? Their lips are just too small, like mine. My wife says she doesn't like my really small lips. She won't kiss me because my lips are too small.
I'm sorry. Well, so we found the answer. There's this woman. You may know who she is, mainly just because of her sister. So this woman named Kylie Jenner. She has come up with this challenge.
Clap for the Kardashians.
Yes. Yay! She's come up with this challenge to get fuller lips without having to have surgery. I mean, who wants to have surgery? No? Okay.
Everybody apparently wants to have surgery. That's apparently
without surgery. Okay. So the idea behind it is that you can take a cup, and it's called the Kylie Jenner challenge. You take a cup and you put it on your face, right over your lips, and you create this vacuum, you suckle the air out, and it gives you fuller lips. So, because we're here and because we're talking about it, we're gonna do it. You ready? You ready? Okay. Before,
I don't think mine works. Y'all know the difference between Kylie Jenner and us? Kylie Jenner doesn't have a beard.
So,
I mean, I can do this. Does this work? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. A beard just doesn't work. But, no, so that's what's crazy. And everybody needs to go home and Google the Kylie Jenner Lip Challenge because we've got girls all
be warned.
No, don't. My student did it. It bruised.
Exactly.
Be warned.
Exactly. It doesn't give you fuller lips. It breaks your face.
It breaks your face. No, stop.
Seriously, people are so concerned with their vanity. They're so concerned with trying to look great. They're so concerned with trying to be beautiful, and this is what society says we have to look like, that they're willing to, I mean, if you go and look, people have like busted their lips, they've messed their face up, all because that's what society says we have to look like. I mean, so who cares if it takes me 24 hours to get dressed to go anywhere, right? Anybody else take that long to get dressed? No. Let's see, maybe I worry about vanity too much. No, but it's crazy. It's another one of those things, the way we look at the world. It might not be as obvious as sexism and racism, but like materialism and vanity. They're things that we think are so important. We always we want to look like Kylie Jenner. We want to have the big, beautiful lips to go with my soft, supple beard. You know, that's what the world matters. That's what we think the world values, and so that's what we try to do. And it's crazy that we have people willing to do it. We have people willing to go get surgery because you have to be this particular size, and if you're not this particular size, you should be concerned about it, right? I mean, that's enough reason for people to make fun of you, because if you don't look the right way, or if you don't feel like your hair's the right color, or if you're wearing a funny colored nail polish. I don't know. I don't really get concerned with most of these things. But vanity is a huge problem. It's another way that we look at the world. We get so caught up in it that we're willing to suck on cups or stick them to our face.
But we can't.
So again, it's crazy. We see it on the internet, but then when we say it like this, it sounds absurd.
Yeah.
We're willing to be concerned enough with vanity that we will bruise our face and bust open our lips because that's what we think matters. That's what we think is important.
Well, you know what else is important? Knowing which Disney princess you are. So, I need to know, how many of you have taken the quiz, which Disney princess are you? A few.
Okay, you gotta clap. These lights are really bright. We can't see anything out there. As far as we know, y'all have all left if you don't clap. And nobody claps. Apparently we're all alone. The upside is we know they're still here.
Thank you. So, we decided, because Ben doesn't know which Disney princess he is, we decided we're going to do it live for you right now.
Right? If Facebook tells you something is important, it must be important.
It's gotta be.
Really quick though, I want everyone to shout out, what is your Disney princess?
Pocahontas? I mean, I see you as a Pocahontas.
Yeah. Okay, so my first one, what's your favorite Disney movie? I think I'm gonna have to go with Robin Hood.
Oh, Robin Hood.
He at least has a bow and arrow. So we're gonna go with Robin Hood. Secretly, you think your enemies are envious of probably my looks.
Yeah.
No, better yet, I think it's I don't have enemies.
Right.
Wow. Well, I might not be able to see, but I can definitely hear. So, come on, my determination. Hey, we're doing this, so that's got to be determination, right? So we're going to go with determination. What am I most scared of? Right now, losing my job. And everybody clapped for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the
Well, we have somebody over here holding a sign.
Okay. What do you look for in a soulmate? Can my wife answer this one?
What are the options?
Loyalty, steadiness, passion, beauty, kindness, bravery, wealth, humor, and a sense of adventure. I'm going to go with beauty.
Wife?
I have found the most beautiful soulmate I ever heard. Oh wow, choose a talking animal. I'm sadly going to have to go with the options animals can't talk.
Oh.
Use your imagination.
That's not a true Disney movie.
What do you like to do with your time off? Clearly everybody that knows me knows that option is go camping, right? Clearly. Wow. Yeah, go camping is really the best option on this list, so we're going to go with that. My secret truth. What is the secret to true love? I know when I find it's not a good answer. Or I'll know when I find it. Not a good answer. No.
Not everyone to go home tonight.
understanding. Yeah, I'm probably cleaning out my office after this one. Where do you like to have your first date? Funny story, I met my wife at a swimming pool. Yeah, I was wearing a Speedo. Yeah, I don't have to date, that's an option. I'm pretty sure this thing's gonna tell me I'm not a Disney princess. Oh wow, pick an artist. Miley Cyrus, anybody?
Yeah.
Miles Davis?
Yeah.
All right.
Katy Perry? Drake? Drake? What do you mean? Oh, Drake. What is happily ever after? I'm not sure, but it isn't what's happening now.
I thought one was, and they lived happily ever after.
Yeah, well, this is, we're gonna go, nobody died. The adventure continues. We're just gonna try to just move this on. Oh wow, I'm Rapunzel.
And what's the real name?
Witty and outgoing. I have a sense of humor that always keeps people smiling. I'm constantly on the look for adventure, and I don't settle down easily.
Now, right there at the bottom,
Here, you can't see it, but
right there at the bottom, it has that little Facebook emblem.
yeah.
Go ahead and hit that Facebook.
No, but I mean, clearly, right? It says it on the internet. It's off of Facebook, which means it's true, right?
Yeah.
So even if I'm not Rapunzel, clearly my hair's a little short. I'm witty and outgoing. I have a sense of humor. I keep people smiling. There are people out there who are going to strongly disagree with that.
Yeah.
Probably like that dad at the soccer game yesterday.
Yes.
You do all have your cell phone.
But Facebook, it's another way we see the world, right? And Facebook, so the Disney princess is just one quiz. What are some of the other quizzes y'all have taken on Facebook?
What Game of Thrones character are you?
How many kids will you have?
That went dark quick.
Yeah.
I was looking for like, what state are you from?
I feel like I need to be Will Ferrell.
What's your
Well, that
favorite,
explains
like,
Yeah, how Texan are you?
how Texan are you? Right, how does Facebook know these things about us? How does Facebook guess? I mean, and that's what's crazy.
Yes, the official answer. They have some very sophisticated algorithms that, based on what you click, those things reappear more frequently. Personally, I
On Facebook and you look at it and you go, wow, that's not me, and then you realize it really was. Like, it might not be the person you want to be, or it might not be the person you try to portray, but it kind of hits you really deep. And Facebook is just amazing like that. It's another way in which we see the world. We look at the world through Facebook, and Facebook tells us what to think. Facebook says, you're interested in this, or Facebook says, you're witty and outgoing, or sometimes like Facebook tells us you're not worth it, and you're not valuable, or you're not a good person. And so it's another way that we look at the world. All of these terrible things that we wish didn't affect us. We wish we were better than that. We wish they didn't matter, and yet they do. And they're so unnecessary. We didn't have to sit here and do a Disney quiz. We did. And it's right. I am witty and outgoing. Still, not everything on Facebook is right.
no, but
I'm very settled down. Yeah, this couch is nice. Just a heads up, when the mid-morning show is over, this couch might be a permanent addition to the stage. Very nice.
The couch series.
found your next one.
There we go. Yeah.
So we can all agree that Facebook can be kind of hit or miss, but it does kind of just take everything and slam it all right there together, so that we can see it, we can judge it, or we can have what they're now calling the feels. So, the feels, as in the feelings, the feels.
Step above like.
So, to go along with the feels, have you heard what's going on with the Boston Marathon?
Yes, thank God. So finally we get a good story. It's something that helps to see the world a little bit differently, because we have all these terrible stories. We've got karma, and we've got the Kylie Jenner challenge, and we've got all of these terrible stories that come off Facebook. But who knew the Boston Marathon even ran this week? Can someone please give me the first guy that completed the time of the first guy. Don't try to pronounce his name. You can't. 19. 2 hours and 19 minutes. 2 hours and 19 minutes are on 26.2 miles. And that's amazing. But that was just, I mean, he's just the first place winner, so no one's really concerned with him. What people really are really amazed about is there were two stories that came out of the Boston Marathon. And one was an amputee that ran the entire marathon this year. And it was amazing because she lost her leg at the bombing of the Boston Marathon. And so she said she refused to quit. She was going to be stronger. She wasn't going to give into the hatred. She wasn't going to give into the pain. She was going to push forward, and she was going to find something good out of it. And so she ran it to completion. And the other story is about the guy who came in dead last. Has anybody heard the story about the guy? It took him 20 hours to finish. He's a man from Venezuela, and he has muscular dystrophy. 26.2 miles with muscular dystrophy. He ran it the last 2 miles. He got 24 miles in and was so exhausted. The best he could do was he could take about 4 to 6 steps, and then his trainers would come up and they'd hold him for 10 seconds, and then he'd take 4 to 6 steps, and his trainers would hold him up. He did this for the last 2 miles through the rain. He came in like 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that, and they said the streets were packed. Everything was crowded. And when he finally got to the finish line, he sat down in a wheelchair, and someone asked him why he did it. Why, of all the things, when you've got this terrible disease, when you could hardly move, when you knew it was going to be difficult on your body, why did you do it? And his answer was because he believes that life is more powerful than death. Right? And it's stories like that that help turn everything we know on its head. It's stories like that that help remind us that there are all of these terrible ways that we view the world, and some of them we do without thinking about it. Some of the time it's materialism, it's vanity, it's racism, it's sexism. Sometimes it's just believing we're not good enough. There are all these things that just soak into us, and that's how we view the world. And we lose sight of these wonderful stories. These stories about a guy saying life can overcome death. Right? There's a very helpful book called the Bible. If none of y'all have read it, it's really helpful. And in it, Hebrews 12, verse 1 and 2, says, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good, what is acceptable, and what is perfect. Like I said, 4 million people watch the Tonight Show, and that's how they view the world. That's where they get everything. So how is it we view the world? Are we conforming to what the world says we need to do? Are we conforming to who Facebook says we are? Are we conforming to the racism and the sexism and all of these problems, to violence and to hatred? Are we being like the guy that finished the Boston Marathon and said, you know what? The world can't keep me down. His body might be wrecked by disease. His body might be destroyed. But I tell you, his body was more of a holy and living sacrifice than we are so many days a week. Because he recognized that life is better than death. That being transformed is more important than conforming. That knowing how we view the world is important so that we don't just give in to what the world says we should do, but we do what God says we should do. You see, that's what matters. That's what matters when we're viewing the world. It is not what everyone else says we should do. It's not that Kylie Jenner says we need fuller lips. It's not even that my beard gets in the way. But it's that God has overcome death. That God transforms us. That Jesus has shown us the way. And that the way we should view the world is that everyone in it is our brother and sister in Christ. Is a part of creation with us. So this morning, when you finish being the live audience, when you leave, when you go out, remember that. Think about that. When you do something and you go, I'm not a bad person, but, or when you go to do an action and you realize it's not something you want to do, remember, don't conform, but instead transform. Don't be of the world, but be of God. Not much else you can say to that. You know, the awkward clapping that I asked for earlier, just, you know, it really, So, being on the Mid-Morning Show has been a wonderful opportunity. And now, because it's going on the internet, everyone will hear it and believe it, which means no one has a reason to conform anymore. Right?